all these standardized tests that we're discussing have a reading comprehension portion to them. All of these tests are going to have that on it. So let's talk about one strategy for reading comprehension, which I find over my many years of tutoring can bring anybody's score up. The most important thing to think about for reading comprehension is this. So first of all, when you do reading comp in, in school, in English class or whatever, or in a reading group or book group or something, right, is, you read a book or you read a poem and then you discuss it and everybody has different opinions and you talk about it and you debate it and it evolves. And that's awesome. That totally makes sense. I mean, good writing has, different takes on it and you can interpret it different ways. But you got to remember that for a standardized test with multiple choice answers, there has to be one right answer. And there has to be indisputable evidence in the passage or in the poem or whatever to support that one answer. And I find that that's the biggest shift that students have to make. I find that when they make that shift to realize that there's only one right answer and that they can find it, that it's not debatable, it's not tricky, there's going to be hard evidence for that one answer, I find that their score always goes up. Let's take an example. So here's a word capitulation. Let's say there was a reading comprehension question and it said, in line such and such, what did the word capitulation mean? Or, it could say, what did the author suggest by this word or that theme, or why did the author use this or whatever. There will always be, there has to be because it's a standardized test, there will always be evidence right before or right after. So what you need to do is, on a reading comp question, go back to the line that's referenced and always read a little before and a little after, looking specifically for the evidence to support one of the answers. And here's the example. So capitulation was on page 206 in New Moon. And let's say you didn't know that word. It's a pretty tough word. So it said, he shrugged, unsurprised by my capitulation. This is Bella speaking. She's talking with Jacob. So unsurprised by my capitulation. That doesn't tell us what capitulation means. But if you go before and after, sure enough, in the line right before it, it says, I'm giving up. I can't top this one. So you win. You're oldest. So she's having that joke with Jacob about who's oldest. So it says, I'm giving up. I can't top this one. You win. She just gave up. And literally, that is the definition of capitulation, to surrender, to give up. So the word is defined right before it. Stephanie Meyer does it, and actually really all good writing does that. If you think about it, when you're taught to write essays, one point organically builds upon the next. So that's why you can always find evidence for what something means, a word or even a concept, a theme, before or after it in the passage. And definitely that's what the standardized tests do. They'll only ask you questions about things that have definite evidence. Maybe some things won't, but they'll only ask you questions about things that do. That's because they're multiple choice tests. They have to. If you make that shift, your score will go up.